Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I hope you're having a wonderful night. And thank you so much for spending it here with us. And by us, of course, I'm not just speaking of me. I'm not just speaking of me and all of my imaginary friends. I'm speaking of me and my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard. Welcome to the show.
But they're not imaginary.
Well, friends?
Yeah, because if they manifest here for some reason.
Well, those aren't my friends.
We're not really friends.
We're not really sure who they are, but welcome to the show, everybody, and welcome, Don. How you doing?
Doing well.
You ready to go?
Yep. Let's do this thing.
We almost were late for our own show because we were screwing around on TFR on the open mic. They have an open mic feature between shows, and Don and I were totally dorking around in there.
It's all his fault.
It probably is. It usually is. But, it's good fun and makes for a lot of laughs, and hopefully it was entertaining for all. I enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious.
Well, nobody's saying anything in the TFR chat.
I'm pretty sure you got to poke them with a stick to make sure they're still awake. No, I'm just kidding. We love our TFR chatters too. But I'm not sure who's in there right now. It looks like just me, Wookie, Silamo, Lewis is in there. You're in there.
That's me.
Dumas. That's how I'm going to pronounce that one. And Expanded Understand is in there. And so that's cool. How's everything shaping up?
Well, people are rolling in. It must be sunny where they are because they're coming in slowly. Right now we got Bigfoot Buster, Lewis. We got MCAT. Hey MCAT. Nelly, hi. Pam, how are you? And of course Renee Cruz.
All right, so we are populating the universe as we know it.
Uh-oh.
No, not like that, Tom.
Oh, the Portalverse, right.
The
Gotcha.
Portalverse. That's right. We're populating it with listeners.
The Portalverse.
So I hope you guys are having a great night. And this is, of course, our Saturday edition. We are rolling for 2 full hours of Paranormal Mayhem, which is always a fun-filled adventure of unknowns, mostly unknown what the hell we're going to do next, but we always have fun doing them. And last night we had a great show with Barb Charlton. She is, of course, our newfound healer friend who is going to help people process paranormal traumas as they may need, and we're really excited to have her as part of the family now too. So very cool. Very cool. And we had a lot of great participation on phone calls last night, Don. I'm sorry you weren't here.
Yeah, I totally missed it.
There was some great calls and great experience all around. It was a lot of fun. So anything new in your world, Don?
No, the paranormal pickup's still being paranormal.
I swear to God, that thing is haunted.
I know. So what was it? Sunday night after work, I get out there and I go to start up my pickup and the battery's dead. I have no idea why.
Mm-hmm.
No idea. So I get it jumped, I get it home. And on the way home, all the lights are flickering. And all my dials and gauges are bouncing all over. My stereo's turning itself on and off. And it flips open when it's on. It flips closed when so it's flipping open and closed. I'm like, what the heck? So I get it into the shop. And yesterday, they told me, oh, yeah, we figured it out. It's, no problem. So I drove it home, drove it back into town. And then I drove it home. Oh, it was Saturday. It was Friday. I picked it up Friday. I don't know what the heck. Oh, I worked.
It's Saturday today.
Right. So I picked it up yesterday at like 1, drove home, drove back in to come back to work, went home, got up this morning, drove halfway down the driveway, and my dials and gauges start doing this. I asked him, I said, so you sure you found everything? Yeah, we got everything. We're pretty sure we know what it is. And okay, so, all right, well, now here we are again.
So, and you said your lights are flickering, your radio's coming on and off.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
That sounds just like a poltergeist, Don.
And when I called the shop, I said, do you guys do electrical work? They said, the gal says, yeah, I do electrical. We do electrical work. I said, okay, well, when can I get in? We'll bring it in on Wednesday. So, and I told her what was happening. She goes, it sounds like it's haunted. I said, it's funny you say that. I said, because I'm on this show called Paranormal Portal.
Yeah, and it does. It does sound like haunted or something weird. Or you're being an attempt at being abducted, baby.
Don't say that.
Well, you just saw those weird lights the other night, and so I'm saying they might be trolling for some long beard. You ever see a gray with a beard? No. So I'm sure you are probably an enigma.
Oh, no. But yeah, it's just been crazy. So I had to park that and get the other car. Oh, it's just crazy.
It is crazy, and I'm for what it's worth. I'm sorry. I know what it's like to have car troubles, of course.
Oh, yeah. I know.
But it is maddening, and unfortunately, the days of working on your own car are pretty much, a thing of the past.
That's right. You have to be an AI to do it now.
Yeah. Well, or an NPC, I guess.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
Are you saying all mechanics are NPCs?
I'm not sure. Maybe they are. I don't know. For as much as they charge, they must be.
No doubt.
Well, are you shaving up for your upgrade there, Mr. NPC?
I need a memory upgrade.
Yeah, no kidding. But welcome to the show, everybody. Of course, the Paranormal Mayhem shows are just a lot of everything. And there's some things I want to read to you tonight. And I found this article just a few minutes ago, so it was really fortuitous. But I thought this will be kind of cool. So this is 10 creepy true stories that'll give you the chills.
I already have them.
Huh?
I already have the chills.
Oh, are you cold?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's a little chilly in the house here.
I'm all good.
It's just this unseasonably cold weather.
No doubt. Gosh.
But, that's weird. I'm just looking at singular 40 because that's usually part of my mayhem recipe.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. I'm going to have to read that, too.
Okay.
All right, so we'll come back to that. First thing I'm going to read is the 10 creepy true stories that'll give you the chills. And this is coming off of a site called sunnyskies.com. Excuse me. I'm still feeling really froggy. I don't know why. So it says the first one is, I saw something crouched in the road driving around one night, and its eyes glowed when my headlights hit it. So I assumed an animal of some sort, but then I got to within about 15 feet of it. It stood up and looked like a girl standing there.
Oh.
I slammed on my brakes immediately, but suddenly the road was just empty. My friend in the car hadn't seen anything, but asked me a few minutes later if it looked like a girl, and he'd apparently seen something similar with his sister a few weeks before in the exact same spot.
Wow.
So is that a haunting? Is that a cryptid thing? What the hell's going on there?
It's a transient.
Well, yeah, but it has glowing eyes.
Yeah.
Human eyes don't glow in light.
I've seen little girls' eyes glow before.
Well, that's
in the
creepy.
creepy way.
Yeah, that's not good. That's
No.
generally not a good sign.
They scare me anyhow.
Well, I suppose. But no, they're not supposed to. Just due to the I don't know, the mechanics of our eyes or whatever.
Yeah, we don't have that.
We don't have that extra coating in the back of our eyes like the animals do. So that's really spooky. That's the first one, ladies and gentlemen, and a very sobering sighting, I'm sure. But here's number 2. I was out partying with my friends and came home pretty late.
Woohoo!
That wasn't in the article. Don just made that part up. I didn't want my parents asking any questions, so I did sneak in through the garage, and the door was locked, but I had a key, and I turned the key to unlock it, but then I heard an abrupt snap, and the door locked again. I repeated this 3 times, and each time unlocked the door relocked. Exasperated, I cried out, "Mom, it's me." Then I heard the door unlock. I opened the door, and nobody was there. Ooh, some ghost was trying to get this person busted. That's it. That must be like a grandparent going, "Oh, you think you're going to sneak in, huh?"
Oh, what's this?
Yeah, this is what we do around here. The sneakers. No, but apparently the parents didn't wake up, so that was good. Still got away with it. But you had to earn that one, apparently.
Yeah, no doubt.
Number 3, about a year ago, I was up watching movies late at night when I got hungry and went downstairs for a snack. My room is across from my daughter's room, and the door was open. And as I was coming back upstairs, I start turning left towards my room when I hear, clear as ever, "Daddy, can you close the door?" I turn around, didn't say much, and just close it. Once back in my room, I lie down to watch TV, and then it hits me. My daughter isn't there. She's spending the night at my parents'.
Oh.
I get up and go to her room, and sure enough, it's empty. I woke up my wife, and she thinks I'm crazy and says I was probably tired and maybe it was the TV. I remember the voice so clear and coming in the direction of her room. It's very possible that it was just my imagination playing games, but it definitely made me question a few things. Oh, that's so creepy.
That would be
That's horrible. Your kid's not even there. Oh, no. I don't think I'd be sleeping the rest of the night. I don't know how you would ever get back to being tired. That's just too ugly. There's something about just it being a kid's voice that really makes it extra creepy for me.
Can you let us in? We need to use your phone.
Yeah, well,
those are really creepy ones.
Those black-eyed kids. Oh God. I was just talking with MCAT on when we did the podcast today, recording, and I was talking to him about the Men in Black, because the black-eyed kids, because he at one time MCAT had seen when he was during his travels, as you know, he's an over-the-road trucker, and he was at a gas station, a fueling island, and he said he looked over and saw this person walking, but it was like, just like a teenager or something walking.
Sure.
But it had a hoodie sweater, and the hoodie was pulled all the way up, couldn't see the face, and he said it walked across the parking lot until it got to the island of gas pumps where he was. And then it got up to the pumps and boom, was gone, disappeared. He never did see the face, but I was like, God, that sounds like you saw a black-eyed kid. Oh my God, I almost knocked over my soda.
God, it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, it scared the hell out of me too, because I'm looking at a table full of electronics and thinking, thinking Coca-Cola doesn't probably mix with mixing boards and computers.
Probably
Oh my God. So yeah, I'm going to put this back in just a sec.
Knock it back.
I'm going to pull a little bit of the weight off of it here. All right. So that, I don't know if that's what he saw or not, but he said it just disappeared. Now there are stories of black-eyed kids doing just that. Just boom, they're gone. And, they don't usually show their faces. And they are famous for wearing those hoodie sweaters and pulling them all the way up and looking down at the ground so you can't really see their face.
Because I'm a hoodie ninja.
Well, or a black-eyed kid. Hoodie ninja or black-eyed kid, both don't like to show their face. So very, very wild. But what a creepy experience that was for him.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
But he said he wasn't startled or anything. He wasn't really freaked out. He's just like, whoa.
It's pretty bad when you're so immune to the paranormal that it doesn't even shock you anymore. It's like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah. Well,
wish I had that on camera.
Yeah. God, I wish I would have filmed that. Well, he's a paranormal investigator, ladies and gentlemen. So,
He wasn't very prepared that day.
It wasn't his... Well, I don't think he was planning on investigating right then, but that wasn't his first rodeo, that's for sure. So, very cool encounter story, though. I know what I'm going to be for Halloween. I got a black hoodie.
Robin.
Oh, Robin, that'd be creepy. You should go knock on people's door and demand to use their phones.
Yeah. Do you have
get
cookies?
Those black contacts.
Yeah, but they're cheap too. Yeah, they're like $20. You
and
get
since you're in Canada, you have a lot less risk of being shot. So that's always, you got that going for you.
Oh, there's a promising point to that all.
You'll have a chance to break it to them before they can pull out the machete.
Wait, stop.
Wait, it's a joke.
She says, I'll get shot here.
All right. So number 3, about a year ago, I was watching movies late at night when I got hungry and went downstairs for a snack. And I just read that one. It was so good, I wanted to read it again. I wish that were the case, but no. I forgot to scroll. Sorry. When I was about 12 or 13, I woke up in the middle of the night and smelled my father's cologne. Thought it was a little bold, or a little odd, rather, since he lived about an hour away, but was too tired to care. So I went back to sleep and woke up the next morning, and for some reason, my mom didn't wake me up for school. My father had passed away the night before. Never told anyone for years about that night, but around the age of 23, I told my mom, and she was glad to know that she wasn't crazy. That same night, she got startled awake, and the dog was staring at the door, wagging his tail.
Wow.
Almost like he was saying goodbye before fully leaving.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, it truly is a beautiful kind of story.
Right.
But, it is tragic at the same time. Unfortunately, losing a parent is tough.
Our friend Deb Varner is very devious.
What'd she do?
She says, do like Jeff Hardy, paint your eyelids to look like they're black eyes, then just close your eyes when you look up at them. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that is a pretty good idea, though. Not bad, Deb.
Virginia's right, though. That's a bittersweet story right there.
Yeah, it is. It is bittersweet. Yep. So number 5, my wife and I were driving around northern Arizona on Highway 98, or 89 rather. Sorry, that's my dyslexia kicking in. Between Flagstaff and Page, and it was about 1 a.m., As we were on third shift at the time and often drove at night to avoid traffic, I saw a few sets of eyes glowing in my headlights a little ways up the road, so I let off the gas and slowing down to avoid hitting any animal on the road. When we drove by, we saw several dogs, coyotes maybe, on the side of the road, excuse me, on the side of the road, and I hit the gas and drove by, and after we passed, my wife said one of them was running next to the car, and I looked over and saw it as well, probably 20 feet off the shoulder of the road. I floored it and looked over, and it stood up on its hind legs. That's the only way I can describe it, and kept pace with us for a couple of seconds before turning away from the road and disappearing. This whole event probably lasted no more than 10 seconds, but it was seriously the most terrifying 10 seconds of my life. This was probably 20 years ago, and we still rarely talk about it.
Did he say where he was?
Arizona.
Arizona.
Between Flagstaff and Page.
Well, that's like the stories I read last on Wednesday, about the Navajo Rangers.
Yes.
And they said they were, these guys were keeping up with them at like 65, 50, 65, 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
creepy.
And then just going away into the desert.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they said.
Well, this is kind of what this person did. I mean, or this being.
Actually, it was in Arizona was the stories I was reading. So, yeah, that makes sense.
So there's something going down in Arizona, ladies and gentlemen. But if you see an animal running near your car, just floor it and get the hell out of there because... most animals will run away from vehicles. They don't only dogs chase vehicles. Only dogs do that.
I don't know if that's chasing, if they're staying up with you.
Well,
they're still pacing you.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I mean, like wild animals.
Snack?
Wild animals don't go to cars.
That's true.
They go away from cars. So if you ever see a wild animal coming to your car,
it's not.
That's a bad sign. That's a really bad sign. And you should really think about shattering some speed rules. Yeah. Don't worry about traffic law at that point. Get the hell out of there.
Hell out.
You can tell them you heard it on the portal.
There you go. Yeah.
Sorry, officer. I heard on the portal if an animal runs to my car, I'm to get the hell out of there.
What the hell's the portal?
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm not sure you'll get out of a ticket, but at least it'll be a great conversation. You'll be promoting the show.
Yeah, no doubt. But we by no means, mean to put ourselves off as, law.
We're not lawyers by any means, so this isn't legal advice, but it is longevity advice, I think.
Bumper sticker, don't break for dog bin. Yes, thank you, OCG.
That is awesome. I meant awesome, but no, we gotta do that. You gotta do that on the swag shop, dude.
Sure.
Bumper stickers, don't break for dog men.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, now that just brought up a couple ideas. Stickers, I can do stickers.
Do stickers.
So,
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Very clever.
Sasquatch in the back.
I can see who's going to be on the planning committee. OCG. She's now on the product planning committee. Speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, definitely check out our Teespring site over at teespring.com/stores/paranormal-portal.
There you go.
And you can see all the great gear we've got waiting for you to represent. You could be representing, you know what I'm saying? Just, you could be.
OCG says that's awesome.
Awesome. I know, it's like I'm really like totally off. You know how you get this like line and you want to follow it, and I'm like totally bouncing around it tonight.
My perception of how I'm going to do reality.
Yeah, exactly. My plan, reality. That's my life right there in a quick visual meme.
Oh boy.
So, all right, number 6.
Wow, that's pretty cool. We have visual memes. We have live memes.
We do live memes here on the portal. I don't know. All right, number 6. Used to live in a 2-story house with 5 dudes.
Wow.
I don't know if this is a male or female. It doesn't say. But that's a great start. The upstairs had a kitchen and a sliding glass door going out to the deck. The downstairs had a family room with one of those enclosed staircases that turned at the bottom so you couldn't see the person coming down until the last 4 steps. One day I was playing SNES, Super Nintendo Entertainment System. That's awesome. With one of the guys, and we were the only two home. Heard the sliding glass door open and slam shut. Then very loud and very fast footsteps pounding down the stairs, and then suddenly nothing. But nobody came down. We both looked at each other like, WTF, what was that? I called out the name of my boyfriend since it was close to the time he comes home from work, but total silence. The two of us slowly crept upstairs to find the slider was locked and nobody else was home. We noped the hell outside to chain smoke cigarettes until my boyfriend came home 20 minutes later. Wow. That's pretty intense. that's just so intense.
I just love noping the hell out. That's always fun.
That's just it. That's fight or flight. It's now noping. So number 7, I was 6 and remember playing in my room, and my grandpa walks in and talks to me for a few minutes, and after a bit he gets up and tells me to be a good girl for my mom, kisses me on the forehead and walks out. Mom comes in about 5 minutes later, hysterical, and told me my grandpa had died overnight, and we had to leave to go be with the family 2 states over where he lived. Wow. That is really epic. Huh. So she actually had a one-on-one with her grandfather. That's really amazing to me. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I am awake.
All right. I'll get my Don stick here. I just got to poke it once. Don?
Don, wow.
All right. Number 8, 3:30 a.m. My buddy and I spent the night repoing cars. We pull up to the light in Manchester, New Jersey of 527 and 70, going, I imagine that's a road intersection, right, yeah. 527 and 70 where they meet. Going straight in the left turn lane, getting on to 70 east, a blue 97 or 98 Honda CRV. The person driving had no face.
Ooh.
Just blank.
Wow.
Like the green man from Always Sunny or No Face from Dick Tracy. My buddy and I both saw it. Nobody believed it.
Of course not.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's generally the reaction you get.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, guys, guess what? I saw. No, you didn't.
It didn't happen. Pixar, it didn't happen.
Yeah, my paradigm says that didn't happen. Sorry.
It's not possible.
Yeah, exactly. So number 9's kind of long. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what number 9 is. About 7 or 8 years ago, I visited a friend a few cities over. They live in a fairly rural area and some forested area behind their house, with some forested area behind their house. It was a house. It was house. It says it was house, then 30 feet to a fence, then maybe 200-ish feet beyond the fence is this forested area. My friend and his family claimed spooky things happened in this forested area, but I didn't believe it. Nevertheless, this kind of thing really fascinates me, so while I didn't believe in the paranormal or the supernatural, it's still interesting to humor the thought. I brought a hat with me, and when I stayed with them, and it was a black hat with Jimi Hendrix's signature embroidered into it, my favorite hat at that time, and I was told by my friend if I tossed the hat beyond the fence, not necessarily into the forested area, it'd appear in or close to their house. So I did. Tossed it over the fence one night, and lo and behold, in the morning it was on their front porch. Whatever anyone could have done that. Nothing spooky about that. I tried it again a couple of times with the same end result, on their porch or by my belongings indoors each time. And each time monitoring my friend in the process to make sure he doesn't grab it and move it. Whatever his brother or sister might be in on it. I took one of my friend's items unbeknownst to him, a belt buckle, and threw it over the fence, noting where I tossed it so I can grab it later. And I didn't have to because it suffered the same fate on the front porch a couple of hours later. This one confused me, but I was still skeptical, so I chalked it up to one of the family members seeing me and doing it. This all culminated when my friend and I went into the forested area one night, and we brought flashlights, and I wore my hat, and after a few minutes in, the flashlights went out at the same time. He stopped and told me to run back, and I didn't question him. there might be a wild animal or something, and I don't care to be bit or harmed, so I bolted. To note is that he sprinted a few seconds before I did, so he had a measured head start in the process. I dropped my hat. I didn't care. I ran. When we got back inside the house, my hat was waiting for me in my suitcase. No one was with us, especially no one who could have grabbed my hat and went the long way back to his house faster than us. My friend didn't grab it either since he was already gone when I dropped it. To compound this, we were the only ones at the house that night, and it was locked. I still don't understand to this day, but I did leave my hat with him, half wishing it would appear at my home several hundred kilometers away. But no dice. Some other weird stuff happened, but that's the biggest example of weirdness.
We'll be back.
Right back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go away for more of the Paranormal Portal. ladies and gentlemen, we are back and back at it. And I just see, I came back and see Randall saying belly pants with tube top. I'm not even sure what belly pants are, but since you tied it with a tube top, it's got to be fun. I don't know. But, ladies and gentlemen, we just received a word from our good friend, Mr. Jim Mount. And let me see if I can find it. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I lost it already. There it is.
It's not why am I not surprised.
Well, no, I know. I know it's the story of my life, but I'm going to put it up on the screen here, and we can share it with everybody. I'm going to have to pause it right away, though. Here, hold on. All right, so this is it. All right, here it is. Here it is.
There you go. You're on the big screen.
Oh, look at that. What is that? Like 75, 100 inches?
That's got to be 110 or better. There we are, ladies and gentlemen, on the big screen.
How huge Dawn's head is.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what I get for not pre-screening.
It's
120.
120, nice.
120, yeah.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
So we're on the big screen at Jim's house. So, woo! I guess I'm honored. I'm glad. I'm just seeing that I'm looking good on that screen too. So
yeah,
life is good.
Well, imagine how long the beard is on his screen now.
Oh my God! You could probably catch wind with it.
Wow.
You could probably sail with that thing.
Beard sailing.
That's a nice TV, definitely. The beard sailing. Yeah. Oh, that sounds like another T-shirt design right there.
Feel the wind in your beard.
You just can't romanticize a beard too much, you know. Grizzly long beard over here.
Just grab on and hang on.
Oh my God. So yeah, we need a beard shirt.
Yeah.
See, she's back to designing again. OCG.
I have no talent into designing something like that.
No, I know, but Orange County girls now.
I know.
Stepping up to the plate and coming up with all kinds of great ideas.
Don't break for Dogman and a beard shirt. Yeah. Okay.
A beard shirt.
Yeah, beard
Absolutely.
Shirt.
So there you have it. Now, getting back to that list.
Yes.
Where are we now? What time is it? Who am I? What's my motivation?
These guys are just going crazy.
They always do, though. That's why it's fun.
A beard in Lederhosen. No, how about a beard in Groschlager? I can do that one.
Groschlager?
Yeah, pop top beard.
Oh, that's okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. What's the Jägermeister? Yeah, I'll do those shots too.
Longbeard, the Pirates. Duke says yar. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we could take steel wool and rub it next to that beard and probably generate electricity.
You know, that's or start a fire, one or the other.
In case we lose power here in the studio.
Oh, gosh.
There it goes. All right, I got one more on my list here, and then we can continue on our journey. We're circling the beard currently, but number 10.
Twinkling fairy lights. Sorry, go ahead.
Twinkling fairy lights. Don's mystical beard of wonder. All right. One time, our family dog ran away, and he was super shy and scared very easily, and we got him from an animal testing lab. Yeah, that'll freak out a dog for sure. So we gathered all friends and family, which we could get our hands on, and shortly after he bailed, there were numerous search parties all over, about 24 people looking for him. And after a whole day of searching, without any sign of the dog, the sun was setting slowly, and I was standing on the edge of the forest where I searched and called for the whole day, and suddenly saw a deer just 15 meters from me staring directly in my eyes. We stared at each other for at least a minute, no move, no sound, and then I asked with a soothing voice, "Did you happen to come across a lost beagle?" And I swear to God, till this day, the deer nodded and looked down on the ground where it was standing, and then it jumped away into the woods. And I was thinking to myself that I just imagined that nod, and then the dog could not sit next to the deer without making any noise, but I could not check. And yes, He was sitting in the exact spot, scared to death and shaking of fear. I gasped and cuddled the dog, took him on my arm, and looked into the woods where the deer disappeared, and there it was again, staring at me directly in the eyes. I had tears of joy and was so unbelievably grateful, while at the same time confused as hell. And since that day, I've never eaten deer again. Wow. That's really cool. That is really cool.
Uh-oh.
What is Renee saying? There's 2 other YouTube paranormal portals.
There's
the Spanish one is not Paranormal Portal, though. It's Portal Paranormal. And I can't do anything about that. I don't know what's Tom Spitaler's.
That's the one we've already addressed.
Oh, right. So there's not much more I can do. I've already made complaints about that. But thank you, Renee. I appreciate you looking. But yeah, I've done everything I can. The other paranormal portals really don't have, much of a following, so it's not really a threat in the big, sense of the word.
Giant scheme of things.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I do have a trademark on the name, so legally it's mine. And if push comes to shove, I guess, maybe I'll have to get some legal muscle behind it, but I'm not really worried at this point. I've messaged everybody, and as far as I know, many of them have already changed. There were a few of them out there. 2 of them have already changed, one of which I understand is coming soon. So hopefully very, very soon, but we'll see. Thank you, though, Renee. I appreciate you looking. So that's that list, and it's a cool list. I love those stories. Really cool, really short and sweet, but still very freaky, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Gotta love it. So I can close this one now because it's also kind of a spammy page full of all kinds of weird ads, and it's always got the status bar like it's loading something, and that always makes me nervous. But anyway, where the hell was that? I had it. Oh, here it was. Here it was.
What was it you wanted to read?
So this is the one I wanted to read next. This is from the Singular Fortean. Again, I love this site. They just got a lot of great articles and stuff on here about all things paranormal. So, all things Fortean. So it's great. Now the legend, there's a legend behind Pope Lick. There's a bridge in Pope Lick Bridge, and there's believed to be a creature that appears on there that looks kind of like a half man, half goat. So it's got like the head of a goat, the torso of a man, and then the legs of a goat is what I understand. And apparently the idea is that if you stand out on this bridge at night, you may encounter this beast. And so many people have done it. It's kind of mostly, I think, teenagers, as it's mostly an urban legend, I think, although there are some claims that it's absolutely true, but I don't know what to think about stuff like that. But maybe. But unfortunately, this came across the desk. 1 teen dead, another in serious condition after being struck by train on Pope Lick Bridge. So here's the story, ladies and gentlemen. 1 girl is dead and another remains in serious condition following the 2 teens being struck by a train while walking along Pope Lick Bridge in Louisville, Kentucky on May 28th. Savannah Bright, 15, was declared dead at the scene, while her friend, Kaylee Keeling, 16, was taken to University of Louisville Hospital. According to Kaylee's friend, although the swelling in her brain has gone down, she remains in the hospital intensive care unit. Although no one can say for certain why the girls were on the bridge, it is a popular spot for monster hunting. Tales of the Pope Lick monster date back decades. The monster is described most often as a goat hybrid, but according to some accounts is said to lure passerbys to their death. Others say that he may be summoned by traversing the precarious trestle bridge. There are no official records documenting the number of lives lost to the hunt for the legendary Goatman, but Louisville Courier-Journal reported in 2016 interview with Wayne Gentry that the retired train engineer said he'd been involved in 43 collisions during his 34-year career with Norfolk Southern. Not every collision took place on the Pope Lick Bridge, but Gentry did say that some of his fellow engineers refused to travel over the bridge because of the trauma involved in its frequent accidents. So apparently, this is still a very much used rail line, which makes it a really bad idea to hunt monsters on a currently active railroad. It's just a bad idea, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I don't know. I actually was almost hit by a train once. Not well. We were out on the tracks. I don't know what the hell we were doing.
Obviously being kids.
I mean, we were being kids, right? So we're probably like 12, 13 years old, and it was in Minnesota along the near the Wakuta Road turnoff, and the railroad is on the other side of the turnoff, and it goes along the bluff, and it comes around a big corner, so you really can't see. But we're over on this bridge. I think what our plan was is to put down pennies and see if we could get them smashed.
Yeah.
And then just look at coins that were smashed. And we were over on the bridge and we're dorking around. And all of a sudden, one of us looks up and goes, "Train!" And so we had to run all the way across this bridge. And honest to God, we dove off to the side as the train was coming. And it was laying on the horn like crazy. And it was just freaky. We almost got hammered, but we all lived, thank God. But the bridge was much smaller than the Pope Lick Bridge. If you're stuck on that and a train's coming, there's nowhere to go. Yeah. There's just nowhere to go. It's just a big long, picture. If you can't, you got to picture basically a railroad track suspended on some stilts. That's about all there is. There's no side to it. It's just railroad track on some stilts. And so if you were on that, and it's what they're even showing in this picture has got to be nearly a quarter mile long. There's no way you're going to run faster than a train's going to catch you. So what a horrible thing. And I'm so sorry some child lost her life, and many others have. That's so, so tragic. The paranormal's great, everybody, but it's not worth your life.
No.
It's not worth dying for.
'Tis not.
Don't go out on bridges looking for paranormal stuff. Because, the worst case scenario, you find it, and then it throws you off the bridge. So, you have no options. There's no left or right. There's just forward or back, So you're already in a really bad position to meet a monster anyway. You have nowhere to go. So try to think of your surroundings a little bit. That's just Monster 101, I'm thinking. I'm just saying.
Dakota DeShaw. That's a new name. Hi, how are you?
Dakota DeShaw?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Welcome to the show. Where's that? Where are you seeing that?
In the chat.
Oh, very cool, yeah. Dakota. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. I know who you are. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Wonderful that you showed up. It's about time somebody recognized. That's all I got to say.
Oh, goodness. Oh, boy, here we go.
No, he's family. Dakota's family.
Excellent, excellent.
It's wonderful you're here. Thanks for coming, brother. And I hope the rest of the fam is here as well. That would mean that my cousin Paul and Melissa must be out there somewhere too, checking it out. But anyway, great to see you guys. Thank you. What's next? What do you got, Don?
What do I got?
What do you got, brother?
I got a whole lot.
I mean, for the show.
Oh, 3 knocks in the dead of the night. Okay. Something strange happened to this poster and their grandma. One night they stayed up late watching The Walking Dead. Their grandma had never seen the show before, so they spent the last few nights binging late into the night. It was about 4 a.m. when the two turned off the television and the lights and called it a night. Their grandma went to her room, and our Reddit user went to the bathroom to brush her teeth. That's when they heard 3 light knocks behind them. Since the bathroom was connected to their grandmother's room, they assumed it was her checking to see if there was anyone in the bathroom. They answered, but didn't get a response. When they left the bathroom and met their grandma in the hallway, she asked what the user wanted. Confused, the writer said that they thought she was the one knocking on the bathroom door, but grandma had also heard 3 knocks on her door and thought it was the user. There you go.
Wow.
So knock 3 times. Oh, wait. As it turns out, they both heard quiet, distinct knocks. They searched the house to make sure no one had broke in, double-checked the locks, and finally went to bed. Their grandma has 1 deceased son and 1 son that has been missing for almost a year. Wow. The writer believes that the knocks had something to do with the missing men. Perhaps they were trying to reach out to their beloved family. Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah, knocks in the night.
Those darn ghosts.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
But the thing is though is I live in a house that was built the year after I was born, so it's 40.
Do that
40
again.
What?
It was just this funny sound came out of your mouth.
Do you hear this guy?
I got to give you credit. You always point the right way so it looks on camera like you're pointing at me.
Sometimes I
That's
point the
clever.
right way because I'm always looking the wrong way. What?
No, that's funny. That noise is just hilarious.
All right, that's cool. I'm glad. Yes, Mayhem. Yes.
Mayhem.
A few years ago, Tauntaun Tom is the user's name. Tauntaun Tom.
Oh, nice.
It was like a tongue twister. Had just been through a rough divorce from his high school sweetheart. Their best friend had been distracting them by taking them on long road trips. One morning, they were on their way to Carlsbad, New Mexico, when they paused alongside a river dam. They were drinking cider and snacking when the pair decided to explore the dried riverbed. It was obvious that they weren't the first ones there to go tracking through the riverbed. The pair could see human, feline footprints in the mud. They then recalled starting to feel an odd sensation like they were being watched. Their friend caught the rider's attention and called them over. There was a bone in the ground, what they now believe was a spinal cord. They first thought it was a beef or pork bone of some kind. They continued looking around the riverbed when they found a strange rust-colored rock sticking up from the sand. When they got closer, they realized it was a half-buried little girl's shoe. The rider stepped back and ran forward, preparing to kick the shoe. Suddenly, they heard a little girl's voice. "No, don't, please." They looked around but didn't see anybody besides themselves and their friends. The friend asked why they stopped, and they replied, "Didn't you hear the little girl?" Both confused, they decided to shrug it off and continue on their way. Meanwhile, the feeling that someone was watching them grew stronger. A few minutes later, they spotted another bone. Now they began to get scared. The bone was clearly human. The friend called a non-emergency police number for Carlsbad, and they reported what they saw. 1 week later, they received a call from their friend that the Carlsbad police had called to report the bones they had found were indeed human.
Oh.
During the investigation, the two were questioned and eventually informed that the rust-covered rock wasn't a rock at all, but a shell of a pickup truck that had disappeared along with a family of 3 it had been carrying: a man, a woman, and their daughter.
Oh.
It made the writer think back to the girl's shoe sticking out of the mud and the voice they heard. Could the little girl have spoken directly to them? Wow. You know, we go right back to kids' voices and, voice phenomena. That's, that's kind of creepy. That'd give me.
That is, that was a disembodied voice. That wasn't necessarily an
No.
EVP. So that's
It's
pretty
still
powerful.
a vocal phenomena.
It is. But I think it's so much more profound when you hear it with your own ears.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
But
chilling.
yeah, exactly. But now the interesting thing is that not everybody heard it, and
That's right,
that
yeah.
seems to happen a lot with disembodied voices, and that makes me believe that perhaps it's more telepathic, and it only cues into those people that are aware of, or maybe more sensitive than the others. Because how come nobody else heard it? And that happens a lot. There's like people standing right next to each other. One of them will clearly hear a voice,
Right.
and the other one won't at all and won't hear anything. And so, it leads me to believe that a lot of disembodied voices are perhaps more likely telepathy, although there are disembodied voices, however, that are also recorded on cameras or on audio devices. So
Right.
it's a curious phenomena for sure.
That's interesting. I wonder if empaths pick up more of that kind of thing than just the normal,
Sure.
normies, if you will.
The normies.
Normies.
Absolutely, I think that they probably do. Just being empathy in my opinion is probably like the first stage of psychic. So anything above empath is probably clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, whatever.
Right.
That being the next. But picking up the energy, I think, is probably the rudimentary form of that. But
Oh, I gotcha.
being able to interpret it then would be the clairs.
Ah.
So
There
it's
you go.
just the refined ability, I think.
You know, that actually makes pretty much sense, and I'm pretty sure a lot of our friends in the chat would agree with that particular sentiment.
Sure.
So last year, Small Bean Dean went to a friend's house for a party. Around 1 in the morning, the group decided to use a Ouija board.
Oh, that's always a successful
Yeah, that's
successful venture. All right, let's see how this one goes.
The writer was the only one who believed in accounts of paranormal, so she was hesitant when her friends brought out the board. But instead of giving her friends more reason to tease her when it came to the paranormal, she acted as if she didn't believe in such activity. They began asking the board questions. They started with a few normal questions. Nothing exciting happened. Then someone asked the spirit if the spirit wanted to hurt them, and it responded with only one. The group started to get creeped out at this point, and rightfully so. When one friend asked the natural follow-up question, who, the board spelled out the user's name, spelled out the full name. It should be noted that she doesn't care for her full name, and everyone calls her Tasha instead. Tasha then left the room while her friends continued playing, but found out later that night that the group forgot to say goodbye to the board. Anyone familiar with a Ouija board knows that closing the interaction with the spirit is crucial before stopping the use of the board. Needless to say, she was nervous. After this, Tasha had no memory of the night. She only remembers getting a migraine and nosebleeds. Her friends took videos of her acting strangely, speaking in a changed voice, and a few instances of her talking in other languages.
Oh, dear God.
However, that night wasn't the only time this has happened. In the days following, Tasha's parents reported the same things happening. Once again, she remembers nothing but migraines and nosebleeds. About 2 weeks later, she was back to normal, or so she thought. Tasha was suddenly hospitalized for excruciating pain in her kidney, so bad it almost shut down. The doctors tried everything but couldn't figure out what was wrong. Then, on the day she was scheduled for surgery, the pain suddenly stopped. 1 day later, Tasha was released. Since that incident, she has never felt that she's been truly alone. Sometimes she feels someone grabbing her hands or neck, making it difficult to breathe. Tasha has always believed in the paranormal, but this experience made it more real for her.
Oh, man, poor kid. She didn't even want that happening, right?
Yeah, well, she's like, in the story it says, she's like, oh, I don't believe that kind of stuff. But, it says right up front, yeah, she doesn't like, or she believes in paranormal stuff, but she wanted to be cool and ended up, being partially possessed,
Just say no to Ouija boards.
Yeah,
just say no.
They're not good for you. Always say goodbye.
Well, and that's honestly not even a closing, just saying goodbye. I mean, that's the popular idea is that, we just make sure to say goodbye and move the planchette over goodbye.
Right.
And that closes it. But no, that really, even that doesn't really. There's distinct methodologies you should use to close a Ouija board. I'm not going to go into those because, and it's not because I don't want to. It's just that I don't want to be responsible for someone trying it and maybe not being successful. So, but yeah, just definitely do your homework if you're going to play with a Ouija board. That's all I say.
Yes, Teresa De La Vega, not into boards. Okay, yeah, neither am I. OCG says, step away from the Ouija board.
Let's move. Drop that board. Freeze. Drop that Ouija board. Drop that planchette. Yeah, I'm telling you, the problem is that they are always used by kids, and kids are just not prepared. I mean, they just can't know. But then again, most adults don't know.
Right.
There's just it's a tool of divination or an oracle of sorts. And when you're opening a blind channel, you just got to know what you're doing. You're opening your energy to something to come in through the people using the board, but also into your space.
Right.
And so you've got to not only know how to use the board, you've got to set your area. You've got to, tune the area to
Tune the area,
right,
yes.
to keep out the negative.
The vibration of the beard must be correct.
Yeah, exactly. you must definitely rub the beard first to get the static charge.
Oh no.
I don't know. Pretty tragic though.
That's crazy. Well, at least it stopped, but having that lingering feeling that she's not, always being, watched is just creepy.
Right. Very creepy.
That's what you get.
That's what you get for. I'm just telling you. Careful with them Ouija boards.
Scares at the nursing home.
Ooh.
Swagman 434 is a dietary aide at a nursing home for people with Alzheimer's, and they have had some seriously scary encounters while working there. Oh, my goodness.
How about you hold on
I'll
that?
hold that thought.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our hour break, and we'll get into Swagman's report.
Swagman 434.
434 in just a few minutes, so don't go away, everybody. We'll be right back for more of the Paranormal Portal.
Censorship.
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace the lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid toy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity. Just make sure that you're well fed. Yeah.
Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and you are deep within the holds of the Paranormal Portal. And I am joined, of course, by my cackling man to my right, your left, Mr. Don Longbeard.
The guy over there.
My right appears over here on your screen, which is bizarre.
Only in the portal.
Finally in the portal. We're in the portal, ladies and gentlemen, and you are as well. So please keep your hands and arms and legs within the vehicle as we pass through the portal. Because you just never know what's coming up next here on the show. But I know before the break you were reading something, Don.
Yes. Just before I get back to Swagman 434's story, Deb says she wants a shirt that says Tangina made me do it. That's awesome.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. Excuse me. So he was a dietary aid.
Hello, Melissa. Sorry, I just had to say hello.
Oh, okay. Dietary aid in a nursing home with folks with Alzheimer's. Some seriously scary encounters while working there. Their job mainly consists of washing dishes, and they're normally standing right next to the dishwasher, which makes it difficult to hear what people are saying. On numerous occasions, they have been by the dishwasher and heard someone talking to them, even though they knew there was nobody nearby. One night, the writer went to collect the food carts in one of the units alone. The whole time they were in the unit, they felt like they were being followed. Fearing what they might see, they never turned around. Eventually, they pulled off, pretending to use the bathroom. They waited there for about 5 minutes before peering into the hallway where they had just been. There, they saw a patient they recognized. At first, they made him feel better, but soon they realized it was a patient who had died 3 days prior in the unit near the kitchen.
Yikes. Now remember, MCAT shared a story of being parked outside of the hospital. He's picking up his wife at the time.
Yeah, I just saw Gary.
He saw Gary walk by. And ladies and gentlemen, Gary had died like 3 days earlier.
Or they were at the funeral 3 days before.
They went to the funeral prior. So it was like, but he's sitting out there outside the hospital picking up his wife. And boom. Out, just walks out and walks down the street. And he's like, wow.
The user also relayed a second experience they had while washing dishes on a different day. They asked the person they were washing with if he could go into Unit A to get the food carts. The third person, who normally washed with them, had already left for the day, leaving the writer alone. Suddenly, they heard a voice in their ear. They turned around. There was no one there, They even went into the hallway, but still saw nothing. As they returned to washing dishes, it happened again. The second time, they realized it was the voice of their great-grandmother who had passed away 7 years ago. Yeah, crazy. No.
D says,
I'm all good.
DH in the chat says, what does it mean if you hear something talking out of the toilets?
Oh, my God. Exorcise those demons.
I tell you what, I've purged a few demons down mine. I've purged a few ugly souls into that abyss in my house, and
Oh my goodness.
just flush.
Reminds me of a Jay and Silent Bob movie.
Yeah. What was that? The Golgothan. Yeah. Yeah.
So short naming.
Yeah, exactly. He's made out of shoot. So very strange stuff. I don't know what it means if your toilet is talking, but I'm gonna reckon it's not a good sign. I'm just saying.
Wow.
That's not a good one.
Wow.
You
All
just-
right. And it goes sideways.
It always does here on the portal, but that's a direction we're familiar with at least. So, did you have more, or were you?
Sure. In 2013, Zombabe and her friends decided to
Zombabe.
make a Ouija board.
Yay! Good
Zombabe.
job.
Yeah, that's a great name. Zombabe. That's good.
It is a pretty good name.
And her
I
friends
like that.
decided to make a Ouija board. Her best friend lives about a 45-minute drive from the closest store in nearest town, so there wasn't much to do. So here they are out in nowhere. They're going to build a Ouija board.
Hey,
That's the
nothing
best
better.
way to do it. You're going to power it right up.
Yep.
They'd spent the day watching movies, but eventually got bored. So the user, her friend, and her friend's boyfriend, and his friend decided to make a board. About a week before they made the board, the two friends had been staying alone at the house when the writer woke up at 6 a.m. to sounds of heavy footsteps in the hallway nearing the bedroom.
What?
She tried to wake her friend, but it was of no use. She was a heavy sleeper. Gosh, I wish I was her. The footsteps stopped right outside the door. The writer waited, holding her breath, for the door to open, but it never did. The next few hours she spent awake, waiting for something to happen. When both girls were finally awake at 11 that morning, before they left their room, she told her friend what had happened the night before. Wow. And what her friend said in response chilled her to the bone. She said, so this happens, but the friend sleeps all the way through it, no problems.
That's awesome.
She said that for years she's been hearing the same footsteps and that they had always stopped right outside of her bedroom. No one else had heard the steps until the writer. That night, they made their Ouija board. The group were messing around with it, not getting any real responses, when they suddenly heard a loud bang on the back of the house. They decided to stop for the night. Gosh. The friend left to drive the other two home, leaving the writer alone in the house. Being alone after hearing the loud noise and the footsteps made her nervous, so she turned the television on for a distraction while she waited for her friend to return. In the middle of the opening credits, the TV froze, started making loud buzzing noises. She tried to turn the TV off, but the remote wouldn't work. She tried to unplug it, but it kept going.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Thoroughly freaked out, she went outside for her friend waiting for her friend to get back. At this point, she started shaking and crying and texted her friend explaining what had happened. Then the dog started barking at the living room door, viciously growling and snarling like they saw something no human could. 30 minutes later, her friend finally arrived back home. Both girls could hear the television from the porch, but when they went inside, it had been completely shut off and was still unplugged. Neither were sure what would happen, but they're certain there's some kind of malevolent spirit. Gosh, let's open a portal to God only knows to where, and then wonder why there's creepy stuff happening. I don't understand why people play with a Ouija board. It's not a freaking game.
You know, it's not like Pictionary. That's all I can say.
At least that's fun.
Well, depends on how well you draw, but
Chitty, flush.
yeah.
There's still going on about that.
What is it? What does the toilet say? Eat more fiber.
Oh my God! What did you eat?
No,
That's horrible. I'm sorry.
no. It's weird. I don't know if she was being funny or if she's being serious. But if there is seriously sounds coming
I hope
from
she
your
was
toilet-
just being funny because we haven't been serious about it.
Well, yeah, and we're certainly not meaning to scoff at you if it is serious, but you got to understand that sound, how that sounds. That's one of those, when you think of things being haunted, the toilet's
That's
about
not
the
one of
last one on my list.
No, that's not something I'd want haunted.
No, yeah, exactly.
What's going on with your toilet? Oh, there's a spirit living in there.
Yeah, there's
Moaning
a
Myrtle.
demon down there. You moaning Myrtle. Yeah.
Stop it!
Oh my God.
Oh, jeez.
Don't forget to wash your hands.
This is a toilet and not a bidet.
Yeah. Oh my God. It just never ceases to be fun here on the Portal, ladies and gentlemen.
Bidet.
Oh man. Yeah. That's crazy. I don't know what to think of that, I guess.
Wow, yeah.
But please let us know if you're serious about that. I do.
Pam says, what, us serious?
Well, I know, but I mean, we do get serious if we need to. I mean, if your toilet is really saying stuff, then there's definitely a problem, and we should probably look into it. But
Duke says even worse, a mimic pretending to be a toilet. She says she's totally joking.
Okay, good.
Or am I?
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear you joking, or are you? But, because honestly, you just never know. I guess anything's possible. We've heard so much weirdness since starting to do this show that I don't discount anything anymore as being possible.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because you hear some of the craziest stuff. And there doesn't seem to be any rules to this,
I was just thinking, what would happen if my jug started talking? I think I'd have to cut back.
Just say, come here, lover.
Come here.
Have another drink.
Rest your lips right here.
Oh, dear God. That just gave me shivers. All right. Okay, let's go to another story. This one's from singularfortean.com, and this one is from Lon Strickler, and
Really?
he says, parent reports their son's 15-year-old encounter with Mothman near Panther Creek in Auburn, Illinois. Or is it Illinois? Illinois. All right, Lon Strickler of Phantoms and Monsters recently received an account from a parent who said that their son had seen the Mothman near Panther Creek in Auburn, Illinois, about 15 years ago. About 15 years ago, my son, who was about 12, told me a story one day after I picked him up from the after-school friend's house, and they lived right by a creek, and the boys always walked down the road to the creek to play in it. And one afternoon, about 3:30 or 4 o'clock, when the sun was still high in the sky, but starting its descent, so it was a little blinding in the eyes, they were walking down the road to the bridge over the creek when they noticed a man standing on the road. Now, this is from the mouth of a 12-year-old, and he said this man was just standing there, looking like he was all in black, and said it looked like the man didn't have any neck at all. And they were a little puzzled, but kept walking toward it. He said that's when it popped open its arms straight out, and it appeared to have wings. And at that time, he said it just flapped them one at one time, like its arms went down one time, and he said it took off straight up in the air. They tried to see where it went, but he said the sun was in his eyes. I didn't know what to think about it at the time, but just dismissed it as young boys and their stories. And when I started working nights about 11 years ago, I started listening to Coast and realized he had possibly seen the Mothman. Then he told me when he was in his early 20s, he was hanging out with some friends from a surrounding small town, and they were telling stories, and one of the guys started talking about seeing this giant flying bird man. And this is the very same area where my son saw it. And they were both excited to meet someone else who had seen what the other had. This occurred near Panther Creek on Curon Road in Auburn, Illinois. So, very bizarre. The Mothman. Don, what do you think of the Mothman? Well, I'm curious, really.
Well, no, it's OCG. She offered us up Mothman. It's the Mothman.
Oh, I said moth.
I think I
enunciated clearly.
I think it's awesome.
It would be awesome. Mothmans are awesome.
As you were reading that, and he said that he stuck his arms straight out and looked like, I immediately thought of
Batman.
No, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh,
Dracula
okay.
movie, and then you see all the cape as wings. It was kind of weird. But I don't know, Mothman. I don't know.
The reports keep coming in on this thing,
That's
though.
true.
I mean,
That's
there's
true.
a lot of reports. I don't know what it means, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand what the Mothman is. I guess I'm probably leaning towards it being some form of extraterrestrial. Because now, by virtue of physics alone, if you put out your arms straight out and you had what appeared to be wings that didn't seem overly large, and you flap them one time and shot right up into the air, that's not normal physics working there. That's just, it's not. I mean, that's something else at that point. It's like a anti-gravity. It's something technological a bit. But people, you know, I mean, you look at a bird, if it flapped its wings once and shot up in the air, that's a pretty incredible bird. It just doesn't happen. So whatever's going on there, if it was just one flap, boom, it's in the sky and gone.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to me to be something of a technology at that point, because either that or it's not. It's just a spirit, because it doesn't sound like it could be a cryptid in the traditional sense and do that kind of a feat. Because you know, even like Bigfoot, it has amazing strength. It does these fantastic displays of might and agility, but they still seem to be within the laws of physics. It's just that they're that much more powerful and able than we are. So it puts them in a whole superhuman range. But, you know, they're not like jumping once and clearing a mountain, you know. So I don't know. I guess I'm leaning towards it not being a cryptid, but maybe a spirit or extraterrestrial, because it doesn't seem to follow the laws of physics as we understand them. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know what you guys think about that, but
Deb says black-eyed moth kids.
yeah, I don't know. It could. Well, apparently they're red-eyed. The Mothman is red eyes, so he's working from a different template, I guess. Now, I do want to read this, and this is something I posted to the Paranormal Portal radio page on Facebook, and this one I thought was really cool. And basically, it's an article from theconsciousreminder.com. It says, quantum theory proves that consciousness moves to another universe after death. And again, I posted this on Paranormal Portal Radio Facebook page. So if you want to read this more in depth, check it out there. I'm going to read through it now, though. A book entitled Biocentrism and How Life and Consciousness Are the Keys to Understanding the Nature of the Universe has stirred up the internet because it contains a notion that life does not end when the body dies, and it can last forever. The author of this publication, scientist Dr. Robert Lanza, who is voted the third most important scientist alive in the New York Times, has no doubts that this is possible. Lanza is an expert in the regenerative medicine and scientific director of the Advanced Cell Technology Company, and before he's been known for his extensive research, which dealt with stem cells, he was also famous for several successful experiments in cloning endangered animal species. But not so long ago, the scientist became involved in physics, quantum mechanics, and astrophysics. And the explosive mixture has given birth to new theory of biocentrism, which the professor has been preaching ever since. Biocentrism teaches that life and consciousness are fundamental to the universe. It is consciousness that creates the material universe, not the other way around. I would agree. I think he's absolutely right. Lanza points to the structure of the universe itself, and that the laws and forces and constants of the universe appear to be fine-tuned for life, implying intelligence existed prior to matter. He also claims that space and time are not objects or things, but rather tools of our animal understanding. Lanza says that we carry space and time around with us, like turtles with shells, meaning that when the shell comes off, which is space and time, we still exist. The theory implies that death of consciousness simply does not exist. It only exists as a thought because people identify themselves with their body. They believe that the body is going to perish sooner or later, thinking that their consciousness will disappear too. If the body generates consciousness, then consciousness dies when the body dies. But if the body receives consciousness in the same way that a cable box receives satellite signals, then, of course, consciousness does not end at the death of the physical vehicle. In fact, consciousness exists outside of the constraints of both time and space. It is able to be anywhere in the human body and outside of it. In other words, it is non-local in the same sense that quantum objects are non-local. Lanza also believes that multiple universes can exist simultaneously. In one universe, the body can be dead, and in another, it continues to exist, absorbing consciousness which migrated into this universe. This means that a dead person, while traveling through the same tunnel, ends up not in hell or in heaven, but in a similar world he or she once inhabited, but this time alive, and so on. Infinitely, it's almost like a cosmic Russian doll afterlife effect. I'm not sure what to think about that. Maybe. I don't know. I think that's not quite right, but it's close. This is hope instilling, but extremely controversial theory by Lanza has many unwitting supporters, not just mere mortals who want to live forever, but also some well-known scientists. And there are the physicists and astrophysicists. Sorry, that was a big one. Lots of syllables there. Who tend to agree with the existence of parallel worlds and who suggest the possibility of multiple universes. Multi-universe is a so-called scientific concept which they defend. And they believe that no physical laws exist which would prohibit the existence of parallel worlds. The first one was the science fiction writer H.G. Wells, who proclaimed in 1895 in his story The Door in the Wall, and after 62 years this idea was developed by Dr. Hugh Everett in his graduate thesis at the Princeton University, and it basically posts that at any given moment the universe divides into countless similar instances. And the next moment these newborn universes split in a similar fashion. In some of these worlds you may be present reading this article in one universe or watching TV in another. The triggering factor for these multiplying worlds is our actions, explained Everett. If we make some choices, instantly one universe splits into two different versions or outcomes. In the 1980s, Andre Lind, scientist from the Lebedev's Institute of Physics, developed the theory of multiple universes. He is now a professor at Stanford University. Lind explains space consists of many inflating spheres, which give rise to similar spheres, and those in turn produce spheres in even greater numbers, and so on to infinity. In the universe, they are spaced apart. They are not aware of each other's existence, but they represent parts of the same physical universe. The fact that our universe is not alone is supported by data received from the Planck Space Telescope. Using the data, scientists have created the most accurate map of the microwave background, the so-called cosmic relic background radiation, which has remained since the inception of our universe. They also found that the universe has a lot of dark recesses, represented by some holes and extensive gaps. Theoretical physicist Laura Mercerny-Houghton from North Carolina University with her colleagues argue the anomalies of the microwave background exist due to the fact that our universe is influenced by other universes existing nearby, and holes and gaps are the direct result of attacks on us by neighboring universes. What? That sounds a little bizarre, but I don't think they mean like there's a war going on there, but maybe it's an existential attack or something. I don't know. So there is abundance of places, rather universes where a soul could migrate after death, according to the theory of neo-biocentrism. But does the soul exist? Is there any scientific theory of consciousness that could accommodate such a claim? According to Dr. Stuart Hameroff, a near-death experience happens when the quantum information that inhabits the nervous system leaves the body and dissipates into the universe. Contrary to materialistic accounts of consciousness, Dr. Hameroff offers an alternative explanation of consciousness that can perhaps appeal to both the rational scientific mind and personal intuitions. Consciousness resides, according to Stewart and British physicist Sir Roger Penrose, in the microtubules of the brain cells, which are the primary sites of quantum processing. Upon death, this information is released from the body, meaning that your consciousness goes with it. And they have argued that our experience of consciousness is the result of quantum gravity effects in these microtubules, a theory which they dubbed orchestrated objective reduction. So this is incredibly deep, and I'm almost done. I guess I could just read the rest of it. But consciousness, or at least proto-consciousness, is theorized by them to be fundamental property of the universe, present even at the first moment of the universe during the Big Bang. So would that be a divine God mind or what? I don't know. In one such scheme, proto-consciousness experienced is a basic property of physical reality accessible to a quantum process associated with brain activity. Our souls are in fact constructed from the very fabric of the universe and may have existed since the beginning of time. So we're a lot older than we think, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess there aren't any newer young souls then, right? Our brains are just receivers and amplifiers for the proto-consciousnesses that is intrinsic to the fabric of space-time. So is there really part of your consciousness that is non-material and will live on after death of your physical body? Dr. Hammeroff told the Science Channel's Through the Wormhole documentary, let's say the heart stops beating, the blood stops flowing, and the microtubules lose their quantum state. Their quantum information within the microtubules is not destroyed. It can't be destroyed. It just distributes and dissipates into the universe at large. So there's that, ladies and gentlemen. We're all going to live forever and have a party into infinity because that's just how we roll. But we'll be right back with a little more of the Paranormal Portal in just a couple minutes here. Last break, 1/2 hour to go.
Your protection from deception.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a great break. I'm feeling rested and ready to go. How about you?
Uh-huh.
How about all of you? Don's always ready to go. He's a machine.
I'm a machine.
See, as he talks, the beard creates a friction against his chest, and that charge goes directly to his heart and supercharges his nervous system, and that's why he is the man that he is.
Basically, you just said, if without my beard, I'd be dead, which makes me a zombie.
Well, you couldn't be Don Longbeard anymore. You'd have to be Don 5 o'clock Shadow.
Don Deadbeard.
Don No Beard. There was a. If you look back in the archives,
Oh, boy.
back on YouTube, you will see
Don
really
No
old
Beard.
episodes of with Don No Beard, and he's a handsome devil either way. Don't get me wrong, but it is something different to see him that way. But I love you no matter how you are, Don. It's just how I am.
No Billy Goating allowed.
No, you can Billy Goat all you want to, brother. That's perfectly fine.
Bearded Don. No.
The bearded.
That's kind of a scary thought. Bearded.
De-bearded.
You know, I'll tell the truth. The reason I've had a goatee like literally since I was 17, and it's because I have a cleft chin, a dimpled chin.
See, that's supposed to be really handsome, though, dude.
It looks like a butt on my face.
Don's full disclosure here, ladies and gentlemen. He does not want to be a butt face, so he grows the beard. But the beard is cool. It has definitely become your staple.
Clean shaven Don would be a scary thing.
It would be. It wouldn't be nearly as exciting, and there'd be a lot less materials for us to go with here on the show.
No doubt.
It would be, currently it was the reason your microphone was failing all the time.
Yes.
Was the static charge.
Now it's the only thing keeping me running.
Yeah, I know. However, your microphone's been doing good for a long time.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and now we'll expect shenanigans again.
Yeah, I shouldn't have probably jinxed it, right?
Probably
I
not.
should have probably shut the hell up, but
Oh,
that's okay. We're all right. We'll just keep muting him until we get it back if it does go that way. But welcome back to the show, everybody. We've got literally 23 minutes.
Wow.
After the show, make sure to stick around because Natalie Maraki's coming up with Tarot Mood after the portal. If you're listening on TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, or TalkStream Live, Natalie's going to be there to keep you company and also for callers of the show, she does oftentimes do tarot readings for people. I tried to call in last week and I was not read. But
do it.
You won't do it?
No, I won't do it.
Oh, come on!
No, that's all right.
It's cool.
You can take my spot.
Okay, I'll get a reading. I'll get 2 readings then. I'll read for you by proxy. And
By
say,
proxy,
okay,
yeah.
this one's for Don.
Don's not going to ask a question. I was about to ask a question that you could ask, but then I thought, well, if you ask that question, I get an answer I don't want to know about. So, and I have listened to the show, so.
Oh, sure.
But that's like Deb. Like 2 weeks ago, Deb says, "Well, sounds like Don needs another reading." I'm like,
Don's afraid of what he might hear. So.
Don's not good with. I appreciate, especially Deb. Deb's really given me some really great reads, and so I'm picking and choosing.
Sure.
Somebody going in cold with somebody I don't really know.
Sure.
I just
No, I get it. But speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, a week from Friday, this next coming Friday, Deb will be joining us on the portal here again, and she'll be doing readings for the show. And so you can call in and get a free psychic reading with Miss Deb next Friday on the Paranormal Portal right here at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will get into it. Now, I do need to give you guys a little notice. On Tuesday, I'm going to do a pre-record. I'm going to pre-record bedtime stories because I'm actually busy that night and not going to be home. But I'm going to schedule it through YouTube to release on the normal time. I hope it works. I have no idea. I've never tried it before. But I can't currently be in 2 places at once, no matter how much I try. So I got to be...
You mean you can't bend the dimension?
I haven't figured that part out yet. So since I can't twist the rules of space-time yet... I'm going to have to pre-record a bedtime story for Tuesday night. So, but definitely tune in. It'll be playing just like normal, and I'm sure our chat family will be there either way.
Right.
But just so you guys know, it'll be playing and going. So I hope you guys
will be there for you. Unfortunately, it's by proxy.
Well,
to have Brent there.
I'm always there in spirit, no matter what, but I'm always there physically so far because I've never missed a show yet on our YouTube. Have I?
No, I don't. I don't think we've ever missed a show.
No,
we've never actually not done a show.
No,
so.
We got knocked off the air a few times, and off of YouTube a few times, but we've always come back swinging. So, but that'll be Tuesday night. I've got to be out of town that night. There's nothing I can do because Mrs. Portal told me that I have to be out of town that night. So I try to be a good husband and keep Mrs. Portal happy because that's the keys to a good relationship. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing it as well.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So.
But happy spouse, happy house.
That's right. Happy man. Happy plan? I don't know. I'm just trying to work here. What do we got? What do we got going for us, Don, here on this deal?
Oh, my goodness.
Happy spouse, happy wife, happy guy. Don't you lie.
Paraportal make you immortal.
There you go. Could be.
Or infamous, one or the other.
Well, according to that last story, we all are immortal.
Well,
so, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing to worry
Apparently
about.
The portal does make you immortal.
Yep. Well,
just listen.
if only in the informational.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So, yeah, that's what's going on this coming Tuesday night. But Natalie Maraki's coming up next with Tarot Mood, and then after that comes Jimmy Jean doing the microcosm. He'll be bending the rules of the microcosm after Natalie's show. So, lots of fun to tune into on TFR tonight if you are so inclined. But what else do we got here, Don?
What else do we got? Need a DeLorean for time travel? Nah. You were reading that about the soul, and if it continues on, and MCAT said he had a conversation with someone at a metaphysical expo about consciousness needing a body to interact with our 3D dimensional reality. Mm-hmm. So, it's kind of an interesting idea. Do we choose to come here, or are we sent here? And, if we choose to come here, can we choose our bodies? Can I get a better one next time? That'd be great. I'd like to look like Arnold. Just look like him, not necessarily, Arnold from like the 70s and 80s, not.
Yeah. I look like an older Arnold, an older, fatter Arnold. That's me.
Goodness.
But yeah, I guess.
But that is interesting, needing a meat body to, a meat bag to drive around this 3D reality we live in. Otherwise where would we be,
Well, I mean, but then there's the stories of spiritual apparitions appearing in perfect 3D space, including the one that he witnessed that walked up to that gas island and disappeared. It didn't actually have a physical body, but was it able to manifest a physical body for a period? And perhaps that's the rub, is that, they can't stay manifest for long because of the requirements spiritually are so profound. I don't know. Very curious. Very curious. Food for thought for sure.
Definitely that.
But let's see what else we have here. Let's see what this is, ladies and gentlemen. This again is from Singular Fortean, but it sounds kind of cool. Results of search for unknown DNA in Loch Ness are a bit surprising, says the lead scientist. Now, you have to ask yourself, what would surprise a lead scientist? And I guess if they found dolphin DNA, that would be surprising.
That would be surprising.
But let's see what they say. Following the completion of a recent study, Neil Gemmell, a New Zealand scientist and professor at the University of Otago, has announced that there were a few things about the results of his team's findings in Loch Ness that were a bit surprising. Gemmell's study involved gathering water samples from multiple locations and at different depths in the lochs to scan for bits of animal DNA and then working to identify it. The samples were sent to New Zealand, Australia, Denmark, and France, which used large sequence database to compare the DNA found in Loch Ness with the majority of known living things, and this was done to help distinguish and identify any potential unknown genetic material. Is there anything deeply mysterious? Depends on what you believe. Is there anything startling? Well, there are a few things that are a bit surprising, said Gemmell. What we'll have achieved is what we set out to do, which is to document the biodiversity of Loch Ness in June of 2018 in some level of detail, he added. Gemmell went on to say that the results might support one of the main monster hypotheses. We've tested each one of the main monster hypotheses, and 3 of them we can probably say aren't right, and one of them might be. Popular explanations for the Loch Ness Monster include that it is a population of plesiosaurs that survived extinction, a giant sturgeon, an enormous sea snail, or misidentified otters and debris in the loch. Although other hypotheses include more paranormal components, it is unlikely that Gemmell, a scientific materialist, would be investigating those. Let's see. So Gemmell said in a tweet on June 3rd that the announcement of results from the study would likely be made in early September. It was originally hoped that the results would have been released by now, but the study was delayed by a series of failed bids to negotiate a deal with different production companies to document the research on film. So that's all we got to go with right now. So he says, exciting news. There's one possibility. What that is, we don't know. That's a dick move right there, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that all about? That's just drumming up press, I guess.
Yeah, so it's looking for, it's trying to get hype for the, people to tune into the movie or the show or whatever that was. Yep. So that's what it was.
Here comes your pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of sucks. I wish they would have said something, but nothing there. Nothing to see there.
Nothing to see. Move along.
Now here's another one that's from the Singular 14 as well. And this one is, scientists set out to study mysterious flashes of light on the moon.
Right.
Now here's the interesting thing, and I was just listening to who? Who was I just listening to? I was listening to the Confessionals.
Tony, yeah.
With Tony Merkel, and he had David Icke on there.
That's right.
And they had a discussion about the moon. And the interesting thing is that there are some, and this I think Tony was talking about, was that there were some First Nations legends where people in the First Nations say that there are legends from their people going way, way back, predating the existence of our moon. So apparently it showed up sometime in the distant past.
Right.
Very interesting. Now, but let's see what this says. This is, of course, just that. But if you guys haven't checked out that episode of The Confessionals, definitely check it out. That's, again, The Confessionals podcast with Tony Merkel. You can find it anywhere you find podcasts, but it was a really good episode. Very well done and great information, a really great interview. So a team of astronomers from Julius Maximilians University in Würzburg in Bavaria, led by Hakan Kayal, professor of space technology, have set out to discover the phenomenon behind mysterious flashes of lights appearing on the moon. The so-called transient lunar phenomena have been known since the 1950s, but they have not been sufficiently systematically and long-term observed, said Kayal. So Kayal and his team built a lunar telescope in a private observatory in Spain, since, according to the astronomer, there are simply better weather conditions for observing the moon than in Germany. The remote-controlled telescope is operated from the JMU campus and consists of 2 cameras keeping the moon under constant surveillance. If both cameras register a flash of light simultaneously, then the photo and video sequences of the event are stored and sent in an email back to Bavaria. Scientists have long held a variety of theories regarding what's behind the anomalous luminous phenomena, and arguably most popular being that meteor strikes could produce the flashes of light. Conspiracy theorists, too, have a variety of theories, including that there are alien or secret government bases on the moon, or that the moon itself is a base hollowed out to house a huge observatory for keeping tabs on the Earth. The light flashes under those theories would be explained by the propulsion systems of craft entering or leaving the moon's surface, light reflecting off of buildings and machinery or similar technological reasons. But Kayla has a different explanation. Seismic activities were observed on the moon, he said. When the surface moves, gases that reflect sunlight could escape from the interior of the moon, and this would explain the luminous phenomena, some of which last for hours. Discovering what's causing the flashes of light might represent an important first step in eventually building a base on the moon, assuming it's not already occupied. Anyone who wants to build a lunar base at some point must, of course, be familiar with the local conditions, said Kyle. So there you go. I don't know what they're finding. No real information. It's more discussing what they're doing, but not what they've seen. So
Right.
Interesting.
You know, I came across something, and I really didn't dive into it, but I read something really quickly about somebody stated there was like 270 million people living on the moon.
Huh. Okay.
So I don't remember where I read that. It was just in the last couple days, but like I said, I just kind of glanced at it and went, "Wow, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that later." But I have no idea where that was coming from. But you know, of course, there's all kinds of people that say that we have, space. We have moon bases and also, you know, hollow moon theory, you know, and
Right.
and and I remember reading a long time ago about that First Nations belief that it was towed or it appeared somehow.
Right.
So you know the question is was it towed here from somewhere else or was it constructed in orbit around the Earth? You know, but all accounts say that it just appeared.
Yeah.
You know, and so where did it come from? Was it flashed here from an alternate reality or alternate dimension? You know, was it built there and then brought flashed in or something like that? So and somebody asked about hollow earth earlier, if we believe in hollow earth, and it was DH, I believe. I believe I believe that earth can be very well be hollow, and I can also very well believe that the moon could be artificial.
Sure,
in some
it could be.
ways. So yeah, absolutely.
It's anybody's guess, of course. But I find it really interesting that there was a history when it wasn't there.
That's right.
So, in other words, the idea that maybe it formed as a result of some matter from the Earth spinning off and creating a moon seems not likely. But I don't know what it means. I don't know, but I know that one of the Apollo missions dropped a tank and it exploded and the moon rang like a bell for hours and hours and hours, I think.
Right. Yeah. It was.
Or days.
I don't remember how long it was, but yeah, they shot off like a booster, a rocket booster or something, and they did it on purpose. It wasn't an accident. They did it on purpose to see what would happen. Gosh.
Let's blow something up and see what goes on. Yeah.
So yeah, so it vibrated for a good long time. I can't remember how long it was. I think it was 3 days. I can't quite remember. So,
but it's a long time for any large mass like that to resonate like a bell. And obviously they didn't hear the sound because there is no air to vibrate in space. But they could see the resonance somehow, whether it was on some seismic,
an oscillator or something. Yeah,
some seismic. Meters or sensors or whatever.
I wonder if that's what they did. I wonder if they used seismic meters.
I'm sure they must
to do that. Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm sure they must have. But looking at the surface of the moon, looks like it's been beat to hell for a long time. But you never know. It might just be the type.
Well, that's an interesting
texture.
thing, though. What about when something hits the moon? Why isn't it vibrating at that point? Because they say that's what happened to the moon is it's been beat with asteroids or meteorites. So why don't we have any recordings of it vibrating previously or since then?
Probably because there was nothing up there to vibrate it. I mean, nothing to record the vibrations prior. I think that maybe when they were there, they left things there that could sense.
You don't think that somebody, some terrestrial somebody somewhere in the seismic geology can detect if the moon is vibrating? They can tell the movement of a quasar by the light rays and the vibrations off the light. I think that a terrestrial ground station could pick up the moon vibrating.
Maybe. I don't know. Possible. I don't know what they can do and what they can't do.
Oh, Brian says the moon used to be a moon of Maldok, which was destroyed in the war with Mars, which also ruined Mars, and Maldok's wreckage became the asteroid belt.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting idea.
That is true.
And that would explain where it just kind of appeared. Yeah.
I wonder what was different than if there was a planet in the asteroid belt, and I believe there probably was. That's a lot of debris for it not to have been a planet.
Right.
But what was the gravity like here on Earth differently? You know, when you got another body like that, how were things? You know, because that was quite a bit closer to the Earth, right?
Right. Well,
than Mars.
Right. Well, and then also, you know, you have Nibiru smashing into Tiamat, and some people say that the moon was created from the tore out piece of Tiamat that eventually spun in and eventually became the moon.
And what became of Tiamat? What's left of it?
Well, that turned into the Earth.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Huh.
So basically, Tiamat split apart, created the asteroid belt and the moon. And I love that term, the dark side of the moon. There's no such thing as the dark side of the moon. It's just the side we can't see. But there is that Tiamat Nibiru possibility, and that could also that's also pointed to as how the Earth became seeded with life. There you go.
There you go. Well,
is it called Pansporia?
What?
Pansporia.
Oh, okay.
Universal spreading of living spores, living beings, living whatever that may be.
I thought that was panspermia or something like that.
That's probably the word I'm looking for.
Okay, right. All right. Well, there you have it. Another bit of amazing information gleaned here on the Paranormal Portal. See, there's no reason not to tune in, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what everyone that's not here is missing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Nelly says deep, Don.
You know, it is kind of bizarre, isn't it? How Don can shift from
trusty sidekick to oh my God, check this out.
Hey, where'd that come from? Don speaking in tongues again.
There you go.
That he knows an educated tongue once or twice. But yeah, no, it's great information. But that's really in your wheelhouse. This is stuff you've been learning about for ages, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I've been paying attention to it.
Oh, okay. See, so Tiamat and Marduk are also names for Maldek and the asteroid belt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Very cool.
There you go. I gave it a little more history. Thanks, Duke.
Nice job. Well done. So, yeah, absolutely. Join us for Into the Microcosm in a bit. Darn right.
Yeah,
you better. That's all I got to say. That's
Drone.
What else do we got? Yeah. Oh yeah, I know that's Drone. Yep. Drone, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. What else do you got? Anything? We got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. I might have maybe a short one. You know.
By all means.
The
floor is yours.
Oh, here we go. The Impish Ghost. My neighbor Diane and I had a playful poltergeist for years. We called it Billy. I'd come home and find something put in a weird place. Milk in a cupboard, toilet paper in the fridge, laundry detergent in the bathtub. Diane once called to ask if Billy had been around because she couldn't find a gallon of milk. We finally found it outside on her back steps. And sugar. Darn sugar. Every morning my sugar bowl was empty. I'd never feed those gremlins those mogwai after.
Yeah.
When I'd had enough, I'd point to Diane's home and yell, "Go see Diane." Within 5 minutes, I'd get a call from her and she'd say, "Thanks a lot," because he'd gone and pulled a shenanigan at her place. This occurred for an entire 2 years we lived there. No one believes us, not even our husbands. My mother thought someone was stealing from us. when we were sleeping or out of the house. My sister believed something was going on, but didn't know what. I still can't explain any of it.
Wow. That's pretty intense.
That's Bad Billy.
There you go.
That's awesome.
There it is. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to about wrap up our journey for tonight into the portal. But thank you so much for being here, everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of the Paranormal Portal family, whether you're watching it now live or if you're going to watch it on YouTube at a later time. Thank you so much for helping to support the dream that we have. But please spread the word. Got to keep the word growing. Check out the podcast if you haven't already. Great discussion with Duke on Friday was released. It's on the trail of Bigfoot. And you know every discussion with Duke is amazing.
Yep.
So check it out, ladies and gentlemen.
Check it out.
That's going to do it for us. Anything in closing, Don?
Love yes. Check out Paisley Wild TFR Friday nights at 11. Check our podcast wherever you get your pods, and we'll see you later.
All right. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Stick around for Natalie Meraki into the tarot mood. Later, into the microcosm with Jimmy Jean. Love you guys. Have a great night.